book before bed. Tonight, we read The Power of Insensitivity by Junichi Watanabe. Peace belongs not to the most sensitive, but to those who let the small hurts slide gently away. Have you ever lain here, in the dark, replaying something small? A word someone said to you today. A look that didn't quite land right. A message you sent that still hasn't been answered. And your body is here, in the warm bed. But your mind keeps turning it over and over, picking at it like a loose thread. It was such a little thing, a passing comment, a tone of voice, something most people would have forgotten by lunchtime. And yet, here it is, still with you, keeping you awake, while the rest of the world sleeps. We so often think of ourselves as too thin-skinned. We feel everything too sharply. A small unkindness can bruise us for days. A little failure can echo for weeks. And we lie here wondering, why does it all sink in so deep? Why can't I just let it go? So tonight, just for a little while, let's set that thread down. Let's walk into this gentle, surprising little book together and learn something that almost nobody teaches us, that there is a quiet strength in not being wounded so easily, and that it can be ours. Let me tell you how this book came to be, because its author spent his life in two very different worlds. Junichi Watanabe was born in the snow country of Japan, and he trained first to be a doctor. For years, he worked as a surgeon in the bright, tense rooms of a hospital, where lives hung on steady hands and clear minds. And later in his life, he set down the scalpel and became one of his country's most beloved novelists, a man who wrote, for decades, about the human heart. So he watched people from both sides. He watched the body, how it heals, how it fails, how it carries us. And he watched the spirit, how people love and worry and break and endure. And across all those years, one quiet pattern began to stand out to him. He remembered especially a young surgeon he had worked beside, a gifted one. But there was a senior doctor in that hospital, a brilliant, exhausting man who scolded everyone all day long. Nothing was ever good enough for him, and most of the young doctors withered under it. They lost their confidence. Their hands grew nervous. Some of them gave up their gift entirely, but not this one young surgeon. No matter how harshly he was scolded, he simply nodded. Yes, yes, you're right. And then he let it roll off him, like rain off a window, and went back to his work, calm and steady. He didn't take it home. He didn't lie awake over it. He didn't shrink. And years later, it was that young man, not the most sensitive, not the most anxious, but the most unbothered, who rose to lead a great hospital of his own. And Watanabe began to wonder, what if that quality, the one we usually dismiss as thick skin or even dullness, what if it were actually a kind of talent, one of the most important talents of all? He had a gentle word for it. In his own language, he called it Donkan-ryoku. And the strange thing is, when he finally wrote it down, late in his long life, it touched something in almost everyone. The book became one of the great quiet bestsellers of its time. Millions of people, all carrying their own small wounds in the dark, recognized something in it, as if they had all been waiting for someone to tell them that it was all right to stop taking everything so hard, and that is the seed of this book. So let's begin with the simplest question. What is this thing he's really talking about? Because the word he chose can be misleading. Insensitivity. It sounds at first like something cold, something we wouldn't want to be. We imagine a person who feels nothing, who doesn't notice when others hurt, who blunders through the world unaware. But that is not at all what he means. The insensitivity in this book is not about feeling less. It's about being wounded less. It's the soft, sturdy ability to let the small arrows of life pass through you without lodging in your chest, to hear a sharp word and not carry it for a week, to meet a setback and not let it define you, to live among other people with all their moods and slights and careless remarks, and stay somehow unshaken. Think of it less like a wall and more like water. A sharp comment is a stone thrown at the surface. For a thin, brittle person, it cracks something. But for the person with this gentle gift, the stone simply sinks. The surface ripples for a moment, and then it's smooth again. Nothing broken, nothing kept. Watanabe says this is not the same as being dull or stupid or uncaring. In fact, the people who have it best are often deeply sensitive too. They feel beauty, they feel love, they feel for others, but they have learned not to let every small hurt sink to the bottom and stay there. That is the power of insensitivity, not a hard heart, a resilient one. So why is it so hard for us? Why do the small hurts wound us so deeply? Because we are built to notice, we are built to remember. And somewhere along the way, many of us came to believe that taking things deeply to heart is the same as being a good, thoughtful person. That if we feel a slight sharply, it must mean we're caring. And if we let it go, we must be shallow. But Watanabe gently turns that around. He says all that sharp feeling, all that replaying and worrying, very often does no good at all. The careless person who hurt you this afternoon has long forgotten it. They're asleep already, and you are the only one still holding the arrow, pressing it deeper into yourself. Hour after hour. The hurt happened once, but you, in your sensitivity, are choosing to feel it 100 times more. And here is something he understood as a doctor that most of us never connect. This kind of constant worry doesn't only trouble the mind, it troubles the body. When we fret and stew and take everything to heart, something tightens inside us. The blood vessels narrow, the hands grow cold, the stomach clenches, sleep won't come. Watanabe saw, again and again, that the anxious, thin-skinned patients, the ones who couldn't let anything go, often carried it in their bodies. Cold hands, bad digestion, restless nights. And the easygoing ones, the ones with this gentle insensitivity, tended to be different. Their blood flowed warm and free. They slept anywhere, deeply, like children. They ate well and recovered quickly. Not because they were healthier to begin with, but because they weren't squeezing themselves all day with worry. Their bodies were simply more at ease. So this thing we dismiss as thick skin is not just a quirk of personality. It is, very quietly, a kind of medicine, a way of letting the whole body rest. And this brings us to the very heart of the book. One idea above all the others. This gentle insensitivity is not a flaw to be ashamed of. It is a talent, perhaps the most underrated talent of all, the one quiet ability that lets every other gift survive. Think about it. You can be brilliant and lose everything to discouragement. You can be kind and be crushed by one cruel word. You can be talented and give up after a single rejection. Sensitivity alone is fragile. It needs something underneath it to hold it up. And that something is this: the ability to be knocked down and get up again, unbothered. The ability to be criticized and keep going. The ability to be hurt and still, the next morning, open your heart again. Watanabe noticed it in the great novelists too. Almost every one of them was rejected over and over before they were ever celebrated. The ones who made it were not always the most gifted. They were the ones thick-skinned enough to keep writing after the 10th rejection, the 20th, the 50th. Their talent was real, but it survived only because their spirit refused to bruise. And it isn't only writers. Think of anyone who has ever endured something long and hard. The one who kept showing up to a difficult job and didn't let the daily sting break them. The one who loved someone through years of small disappointments and didn't let bitterness win. The one who tried and failed and tried again. Not because they felt the failures less, but because they refused to let those failures keep them down. Underneath every quiet, lasting achievement, there is this: not brilliance, not luck, but the simple, sturdy refusal to be wounded out of the game. So the next time someone calls you too easygoing, too unbothered, too slow to take offense, you might smile, quietly, to yourself. Because what they're describing may be the very thing that carries you, long after the sharp and brittle ones have given up. So how do we soften? How do we let the small hurts slide instead of holding them? Watanabe never gives us hard rules, but from his gentle book, I'd like to draw out 6 soft practices for you tonight. You can try each one softly as you listen. The first is to let the words simply pass through. Don't replay what was already said. When someone says something careless or sharp today, you cannot stop yourself from hearing it, but you can stop yourself from saying it again and again in your own mind all night. That second voice, the one that repeats the unkind words on a loop, that one is yours, and it does far more damage than the first. So when you catch yourself replaying it, don't scold yourself. Just notice, gently, I'm holding this again, and let it go. The way you'd open your hand and let a small stone drop. The words happened once. You don't have to keep them alive. The second is to sleep like an untroubled child. Set the day down before you rest. Watanabe so admired the people who could fall asleep anywhere, deeply, without a worry, trailing them into the dark. It's a kind of insensitivity, he said, a gift. So tonight, before you drift off, try this. Whatever happened today, the things you got wrong, the things left undone, the small frictions with other people, picture yourself gently placing each one into a box beside the bed. They'll still be there in the morning if you need them. But the night is not the time to carry them. The night is for rest. Tomorrow's mind will be far kinder and far clearer than tonight's tired one. The third is to be slow to take offense. Give people the gentlest reading So much of our hurt comes from the meanings we add. Someone is short with you, and the mind rushes in. They must be angry with me. What did I do? Maybe they've always disliked me. But Watanabe would remind you, most of the time, it has nothing to do with you at all. The person was tired, or worried about something of their own, or simply having a hard day. So when a remark stings, try, just once, to choose the kindest possible explanation. Not because you're naive, but because it sets you free. The thick-skinned heart is not a foolish one. It is simply slow to assume the worst. The fourth is to forgive the small flaws in the people you love. The longer we live beside someone, the more clearly we see their little faults, the way they leave things out, the habit that grates, the same small failing, again and again, and a too-sharp sensitivity. We'll pick at every one of them until love itself feels like a list of complaints. But Watanabe believed that lasting love needs a generous dose of this gentle insensitivity. The grace not to notice every flaw. The kindness not to mention everyone you do. To let the little things be little. So tonight, think of someone dear to you and quietly forgive them. One small thing. And maybe, just as quietly, forgive yourself one too. The fifth is to rise quickly after you fall. Everyone fails. Everyone is rejected and criticized and turned away. The difference is never in whether it happens. It's in how long we lie on the ground afterward. The brittle spirit stays down for weeks, replaying the fall. The resilient one feels it fully, and then, sooner, stands up. So if something didn't go your way today, a chance missed, a no received, an effort that came to nothing, let yourself feel the disappointment. You don't have to deny it, but don't move in and live there. Tell yourself, softly, that was one moment, not the whole story. And let tomorrow be a fresh page that the day's failure isn't allowed to write on. The sixth is to be easy and warm toward your own body. We can be so harsh with ourselves, noticing every ache, every flaw, every way we fall short. But Watanabe, the doctor, saw how much the body softens when the mind stops squeezing it with worry. So right now, let your body simply be. Don't judge how it looks or how it performed today. Just feel it, here, warm under the blanket, breathing all on its own, carrying you faithfully through one more day. Let your shoulders drop, let your jaw loosen. Be, for these few minutes, as gentle with yourself as you would be with someone you love. These 6 are not tasks to master. They are simply softer ways to hold the day. And like anything gentle, they take patience. The sharp mind will keep snatching the arrows back. And each time, all you have to do is open your hand again and let them fall. Now perhaps a worry is rising in you. But isn't sensitivity a good thing? If I let everything slide, won't I become cold, careless? Won't I stop caring about other people? It's the most natural question. And Watanabe answers it with great tenderness. No, he is not asking you to feel less. He is not praising the person who tramples others and never notices. That kind of insensitivity, being dull to the pain you cause, is not a gift at all. It's a failing. The insensitivity he loves is the opposite. It points inward, not outward. It means being gentle with the wounds you receive. so that you have the strength to keep being kind. Think of it this way. A truly good person is sensitive to others and a little insensitive for themselves. They feel another's sadness keenly, but they don't collapse under their own small slights. They notice when someone needs warmth, but they don't keep score of every coldness sent their way. So this gentle, thick skin doesn't make you care less. It lets you care longer. The people who burn out, who grow bitter, who close their hearts, are so often the ones who felt every wound too sharply until they simply couldn't bear to feel anymore. But the one who can let the small hurts pass stays open, stays soft toward the world, precisely because the world can't keep cutting them. Sensitivity and insensitivity, he says, are not enemies. They are partners. The sensitivity to feel deeply and the insensitivity to recover quickly. Together, they make a heart that can love for a whole lifetime without breaking. Picture the artist who feels every color, every sorrow, every joy, but who can also shrug off a harsh review and pick up the brush again the next morning. Picture the parent who feels their child's pain to the bone, but who doesn't crumble at every sharp word the world throws at them. That is the balance he's pointing to. A heart tender enough to be moved and tough enough to keep going. You do not have to choose one and lose the other. In truth, you need them both. The softness is what makes life beautiful, and the sturdiness is what lets the beauty last. So then, who are you, really, underneath all of it? You are not the comment someone made this afternoon. You are not the message left unanswered. You are not the failure or the rejection or the careless word. Those are stones thrown at the water. But you are the water, deep and quiet and whole, long after the ripples have gone still. The sharp little hurts of a single day, they feel so large in the dark. But they are weather. They pass across you, and they pass on. And the part of you that remains, calm, steady, returning always to stillness, that part was never really harmed at all. It was only waiting for you to stop holding the storm and let the surface settle. This is what Watanabe wants you to feel, that you are far sturdier than you think, that the thin-skinned, easily bruised person you believe yourself to be is not the whole truth of you. Underneath, there is something that bends and absorbs and endures, something that has carried you through every hard day of your life so far and is carrying you gently, even now. So before we end tonight, let's think for a moment about living this in ordinary life, in your friendships and your family. Let the little frictions be little. Don't keep a ledger of small slights. Forgive quickly. Assume the kindest meaning. And you'll find that the warmth between you lasts far longer than it does for those who notice everything. In your work, let the criticism pass through you. Take what is useful, calmly, and let the rest fall away. Don't carry the harsh tone home, like that young surgeon. Nod, learn what there is to learn, and keep your hand steady. The unbothered ones, in the end, are so often the ones still standing. In your health, remember that worry has a weight, and the body carries it. When you let the small things go, you are not only easing your mind, you are warming your hands, settling your stomach, and giving yourself, at last, the gift of sleep. And even in growing older, this gentle gift only deepens. There is a softening that can come with the years, a willingness to let more and more of it simply not matter. And that is not a loss. It is a kind of freedom. The freedom of a person who has finally learned what was worth holding and what was only ever a passing stone. We've talked about a great deal tonight, about a quality most of the world misunderstands, about letting the small hurts slide, so the heart can stay both strong and soft. And maybe some of it asks a lot of you. That's all right. You don't have to become unbreakable overnight. You only have to begin to loosen your grip a little, one small stone at a time. And please, don't turn this into one more thing to get right, one more way to judge yourself when you fail. Becoming gentle with your wounds is itself a gentle thing. It cannot be forced. It can only be allowed. So let me leave you with one last simple practice. Gently set down every thought about this book and just feel your breath. Notice how it moves, all on its own, without any effort from you. Now think of one small thing that has been pressing on you tonight. One little stone you've been holding. You don't have to solve it. You don't have to understand it. Just in your mind, open your hand and let it drop. Watch it sink quietly into deep, still water and feel how much lighter the hand becomes. Once it is empty, listen to the sounds of the night. Maybe a car far away, maybe a little rain at the window, running off the glass, leaving no mark at all. Maybe just a deep, soft silence. And feel your body now, held by the bed beneath you, tenderly supported, warm and heavy. Let your shoulders soften. Let your hands grow warm. Let the whole day slide off you like rain. In this moment, there is nothing to fix, nothing to replay, no slight to carry, and no failure to hold. There is only you here, breathing, safe and whole. This is the power of insensitivity. Not a colder heart, but a sturdier one. The quiet strength to let the small hurts pass and wake tomorrow. Still open, still kind. Tomorrow the sharp little arrows may come again. Someone may be careless. Something may not go your way. And that's okay. Don't blame yourself for feeling it. Just notice it. Open your hand and let it slide gently away. That's all. Every letting go is a kind of rest. Good night. Thank you for being here with me tonight. May you rest in the quiet of this moment and find your way back to the peace inside you. I'll see you with the next book.